Guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? I hope you are doing great. So we are still in Black History Month. So this lady says she wants to learn about Black history. She wants to learn about races. So I'm just going to leave you to watch this video until the end. So let's dive into it.
Hey, y'all. Okay, so I have a Black History Month challenge for white or non-black content creators that do a lot of commentary about anti-racism or race or homophobia, however you do it, whatever you do. If it's in the anti-racism space, this is my ask of you guys this month. Now, we know every year we can set our clocks to you. You're going to jump online and you're going to tell us how you're giving up your platform, or you're highlighting black creators, or whatever you do. But most of the times you guys are giving up your platform for black creators. We don't need it. You can keep it this year, but thank you for the offer. You can keep it. This Black History Month, I want to learn a little bit about you. I want to learn about racism through your eyes and your experience. There's a lot of conversation about racism that talks about it in this abstract way, right? So it's white people beating up other white people and stitching other white people and calling out other white people. I'm not interested in them. I want to learn about you. I want to learn about your racism. I want to learn about how you wield racism. I want to learn about what you have unlearned in behavior, but I want to learn about the behaviors you did. I want to learn about your racism, your unlearning. I want you to use this month kind of like TikTok as your diary, as your journal. And I want you to invite us into your journal, into your journey, because so many of you still think this anti-racism work is about black people, gay people, brown people, Asian people. You haven't accepted that this work is about you. So maybe if you use this month and TikTok as your journal, you'll understand how the work is about you. Decenter us from your work for this month. I don't even want you to be thinking about black folks. I don't want you to be thinking about us at all. I want you to only be thinking about you and how you have showed up racist. I want to hear about your mom and your dad and the conversations that happen at the dinner table, where your parents say something racist and you don't even know, you don't have language about how to address it. I want to learn about you being in the workplace and your boss saying something racist, or keeping somebody from a promotion and you saying nothing about it. I want to know what that felt like. I want to know your journey and your experience through your racism, what you are unlearning. I don't even want you to center anybody but you. That's what I would like for this Black History Month. I want to learn about you. I want to learn about your personal journey through race and racism. I don't want to see a stitch about somebody else's white, just you. So this Black History Month, this black creator would like from you, as a white creator that do this work, to talk about how you have showed up racist in the world and how you continue to show up racist in the world. And what are the things you are still working on? What are the things that you're still unlearning? Because y'all are like, I want to know about you.
Hey TikTok, that creator, Tammy, is my beautiful and brilliant mutual, and she has a challenge for anti-racist white people for Black History Month, and that is for us to share our journeys of our own racism and discovering that and unpacking that. And so for me, I've been doing this for a long time, so it's kind of gonna be more like a memoir than a diary, even though I still fuck up. I have an accountability video from last week, and this is the kind of thing that it's constant work, and we have to start with ourselves. If we're only looking at other people's racism, we're not really doing our part, because if you are white, you are guilty of some form of racism, because it is that insidious. And so when I was a child, I remember there was a black boy in my class that he was constantly getting into trouble. And I remember when I was a kid, I just thought he was a bad kid. And it wasn't until I became an adult and I understood systemic racism and all of the pressures that are put on little black boys, and how much more not stigma, well, yeah, stigma, but what much more they're watched much harder than white kids. And white boys can get away with so much more than black boys can. And so as a child, I just thought this kid was just not cool, not good. And that's not true. He was a child who was living under, because I mean, this is like the 80s. He was living under like much more stress than black kids live under now. And they still do. They still have to deal with racism and stigma in schools now, which is one of the reasons we need more black leadership in schools, not just black teachers. We need black principals. My kids have a black principal. She's amazing. And in superintendent positions, like all the way up, we need more people who have lived experiences with racism in positions of power in schools. And I gotta go get my kid right now, so I'm gonna have to cut this short, but I will be making more videos about this. Please go follow my friend. Her name is My Style File, and she is so amazing. I just love her so much. And we're not like friends, we're just TikTok friends, but still I care about and respect her a lot. And she's really she's an educator about this stuff. You can learn a lot from her, and she's there putting in the work, so you should take her up on it.
This one's going to take the full 3 minutes. This creator is asking that white creators or white presenting creators talk about what happens whenever we see racism, witness racism. So I'm going to talk about the last time that I witnessed racism. I had an older male family member visiting me and his wife. Now, I still live in the South, but I no longer live in the deep South where the black to white population is 50-50 or close to it. So I don't witness racism as much as I used to, and I'm going to get into why I think that is. Anyway, so this older male relative is driving me, his wife, my husband, and my 2 kids. And he comes to a 4-way stop, and a motorist coming the other direction just speeds through the stop. And I don't know I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something that was in regards to that person's skin color. It could have been the N-word. I don't remember exactly. I do remember being shocked. And before I could say something, my husband said something. I think he said something along the lines of, I don't know what skin color has to do with that. And then the other person, the driver, said, goes into the spiel about they're not going to have car insurance. To which my husband said, wow, that's racist. And then my husband went on to say, and I don't want you talking like that in front of my kids. At that point, no one said anything in that car for a solid 10 minutes. It was a good 10 minutes of awkward silence. And his wife was giving some looks like, I'm so glad somebody called him out on that. Because when he said the stuff, she looked pretty shocked. Anyways, I'm running out of time, so let me get into the other point that I have about. I've lived in different parts of this country, and what I have noticed is that if a community is very homogenous, there's less racism. And that does not mean that the people living there are not racist. It means that there's less opportunity for them to be racist. For example, when I lived out west, when people found out I was from the South, they would automatically assume that, but then were completely oblivious to how they treated their Latinx community there, which was way worse racism than I had ever witnessed in the South. And I'm talking current racism, not historical racism, like racism that I actually experienced and witnessed. So my point is if you're living somewhere like New England and you think, oh, I'm not racist and I never see any racism, my response to you is because you haven't had the opportunity to, you haven't been placed in situations to address your implicit racism. You probably don't even know what racism looks like. Because racism can be very subtle, and you have more work to do than I do.
Go listen to the question. It's an uncomfortable question to answer. Vonda and Tammy are my teachers. That was Tammy. And so as I started doing this work, and it's been decades that I've been anti-racist, which is not really doing, for me, not really doing the work. And it hasn't, I continually see that anti-racism isn't really the work. when I started doing this work, I brought my old traumas with me. I brought my old needs with me that are definitely being dealt with in therapy, and it's a continual process of that. But I had this need to be I had this need for approval from whatever area I'm working in. When I was professional, I always needed the approval of the art director or the photographer or the fashion stylist. I needed their approval. Even though I was just a team player, I needed their approval. So it's no different when I walk into this work. I'm looking for the approval of black women because I was told center black women. So my immediate go-to is, oh, then I need to get approval of this because I'm not enough. Because white supremacy culture teaches me that I'm not enough. And when it teaches me I'm not enough, I'm going to be aggressive and violent to get what I want. And so when I started doing this work, and I'm a sensitive little motherfucker, but I'm a sensitive one. When I started doing this work and coming in and going, oh, I hate white people, which is really problematic as a white person trying to deconstruct white supremacy culture, because I need to be surrounded by white people who are also doing the work. I wasn't looking for their approval. I was looking for the approval of black women, because I want you to see how good I am and how great I am at, being, white saviorism crap. I don't like to admit that, but that is the truth. And when Tammy and Vonda introduced empathy, I was like, white people get away with too much shit. None of this white tier bullshit for me. And it was explained to me that white supremacy culture teaches me that I don't even have empathy for myself, so how the hell am I going to give it to anybody else? As soon as I started incorporating empathy into my dialogue, that, along with the accountability of the black women that I am surrounded by, my friends here, out in the world, I'm then able to actually start living equitably in the world and speaking up for equitable rights for everybody. Hope you have a great day.
I've been trying to figure out how to phrase this to engage. And I it's gonna be a little bit on the longer side, and I do apologize because a lot has changed since my original upbringing and such. I was one of those people that you could always pick me out of the class photo because I was the minority. I grew up in the projects in Albany, New York. And then when I got older, I split my time between Harlem and upstate. I went to school in upstate. So, growing up, myself and a few of my friends, we always got picked on. We always got bullied. We always got beat up. I watched a friend of mine get his nose broken and curb stomped because, well, we were white. I've heard the term white bitch, cracker, ghost, honky growing up, and I didn't have hate for that. I didn't have any bias. I always took it as those are the individuals that I stay away from. Those are the toxic. And growing up in a community where we were a village, when you say you don't see white or black, you obviously see white or black, but you don't realize there's a difference. When I got older and I moved, I saw a lot of difference. I realized I wasn't the minority. I was the majority. And code switching or the way things are explained where you switch different languages, it's true. It happens. It's been a hard road. about 4 years ago, I had an incident where we were all enjoying a corporate lunch. We were all in a lunchroom at my place of employment, and one of my coworkers, sorry, it's going to be a part 2.
So guys, thank you so much for watching to the end, and don't forget to leave your opinion down, what you think, and don't forget to share and subscribe and turn on your notification. Anytime I upload a video, you will be notified. Thank you so much and stay blessed.